First of all, I would like to congratulate a lot the program committee of the day, because we had a really, really wonderful program going from the very high-level policy-making level to the field level in an interesting way. To thank as well the co-organizers, Global Health Summit and the Lancet Migration. I would like to still continue amplifying voices of the amazing humans engaged for the sake of migrants' health and equitable conditions of treating them. Allow me to wrap up the inspiring second day of the conference with their own words, meaning the speakers, and you will hear later on from the migrants themselves. We have seen a film illustrating the migrant trajectory and the issues at hand in the path towards resilience. And then, in their own words, I would just go from one narrative to another. Change the narrative around migration. Systems should be able to follow the local success stories of adaptive strategies. Engaging countries is possible through data generation specific to migration. Capacity building is the challenge to advance further actions and country engagement. Commitment is now there. Now we need direction, inclusiveness, and financing. Break the bureaucratic processes impeding action. Stop othering and start including people in cultures with the metaphor of sugar in milk. Address fragmentations and silos of efforts and responses. Bridge silos, breaking them can be challenging. Knowledge put into practice and continuity. There is an elephant in the room. Migration is political. Cultural safety to be trained and practiced. Empathy and open mindset. Care is not charity, it's an investment. Migrants give much more to the host country than they ever get. It's a life cycle issue when children face racism and exclusion. Map the progress and present a good example of how to do it. Not enough data yet, and not good enough data. Migration-sensitive services. And last but not least, which I loved, rehumanize the narratives to build upon human empathy. Thank you.
Thank you, Sofia, for these words. And I will only add one sentence. Luciano Sasso, I don't know if he's still here with us, from the Université Sapienza, Roma, he said this morning, in the past, we used to migrate from Italy for better lives. And nowadays, migrants die to reach Europe. And this is, I thought this was exactly the reason why we asked to SOS Mediterranean to be present with us to open this evening today. Because SOS Mediterranean plays a leading role, an instrumental role for avoiding migrants to die in the Mediterranean when migrating to Europe. So we will have tonight a movie first, and after Dominica and Rebecca with Ole from Right Livelihood, because Right Livelihood gives an award each year for a humanitarian cause and SOS Mediterranean won this prize that was awarded in Stockholm, November 29th, and we were invited, the Geneva Health Forum, and we were very honored to be invited and to see this ceremony. So please enjoy a very inspiring evening with your own words tonight.
Thank you so much, Sophie, Antoine, for these introductory words. Now, to truly come up with healthcare strategies that can help migrants, we do really need to walk in their shoes, to see the paths they've taken, the struggles, their journeys. So we're about to embark on one of the most important sessions of the day, because we are given the floor to the real faces of the story, not the people who help migrants, but the migrants themselves. It is important to listen with empathy. So I will be hosting this session alongside the editor-in-chief of the Lancet Regional Health Europe, a platform for high-quality research that advocates for changes in clinical practice and health policy in Europe. So my co-moderator is someone who wears many hats. She is a doctor in molecular medicine, but get this, she also has a background in chemistry, botany, and zoology. Talking about sciences. She is passionate about health equity, especially for migrants. And at the Geneva Health Forum, she is even launching a journal series on addressing migration and health inequity in Europe. She lives in Munich and is a migrant herself. She is Indian, but considers Europe her second home. Please welcome Pooja from the Lancet Group.
Thanks, Ariane, for such a nice and kind introduction. And I'm looking forward to moderating this session with you. So just a few words about myself. And before I introduce myself, I acknowledge that my migrant journey comes from a place of privilege. And I'm very humble for that. And as Ariane said, Europe is my second home because I had so many opportunities in Europe. So I moved from India to Austria 15 years ago to do my PhD in molecular medicine in Medical University of Graz. And little I knew then that I would continue to stay in Europe for the last 15 years. My dream was to go to US for the American dream, but European dream was much more exciting. And after my PhD, I got a wonderful opportunity to do my postdoc in one of the most cutting-edge labs of systems genetics in EPFL in Lausanne. And after my postdoc, I was hired by Nature to launch their new journal, Nature Metabolism, which also has aspects of medicine. And after my work at Nature Metabolism, I was hired by Lancet to launch the Lancet Regional Health Europe, where one of our fundamental aspects is health equity, to work towards achieving health equity in Europe. And this brings us to the concept of equity in migrant health. And as Ariane said, we launched it this morning, our new series, along with collaboration with the Lancet Migration Regional Health Europe. So, as Ariane said, that it's very important to hear from the migrants what they have gone through. And only after hearing from them, we as scientists, researchers, policymakers, editors, can go back and work on those aspects, because there is so much silos between the different departments. Editors, scientists, policymakers, they don't necessarily interact with each other. So I'm very much looking forward to this session, to learning up from the migrants and hearing their stories.
Thank you, Pooja. Now, before we begin the session, I want to start by showcasing the audience a short film that highlights the crucial efforts of SOS Méditerranée. For those of you who are not familiar, this is a European humanitarian organization that rescues migrants at sea. It is currently operated in the Mediterranean Sea on international waters north of Libya.
SOS Méditerranée is a maritime and humanitarian European organization. What we do is quite basic. We go at sea in the international waters and we rescue people and we bring them to safety. We have associations in Germany, France, Italy and Switzerland, and we're all pooling resources to charter the Ocean Viking, which is a ship that is doing search and rescue operations in the central Mediterranean Sea. So far, we have brought to safety 39,000 people, 39,000 stories, parents, sisters, kids. Every single rescue is an amazing moment. Since we are a very small organization, we are very much aware of every single operational step. The stories, the nationalities, the ages of the people, whatever the numbers, it's something completely exceptional. We've been able to rescue human lives and it's amazing in itself. The situation in the central Mediterranean Sea is still going on. There are still a lot of people fleeing Libya and Tunisia now, and that they are risking their lives to do so. Our main wish is that we are able to shut down the organization at some point, that we are not needed anymore because the European Union has put in place an official search and rescue operation. If it's not the case, then the other choices would be that we are able to rescue as many people as possible. But honestly, we really would like to not have to be there and do that. People shouldn't have to risk their lives to be able to reach safety. It doesn't make sense.
And there's one organization that has given SOS Méditerranée a prize for their efforts, but I'll let Pooja introduce this one.
So our first keynote speaker, he's the director of Right Livelihood Award Foundation, which aims to advance social justice and environmental causes. He has also worked at the German Parliament in Berlin, the United Nations Environment Programme in Paris, and the European Parliament in Brussels. Please welcome on stage Oli von Uxküll.
Thank you very much for the kind introduction, and I'll have to disappoint you. I'm not prepared to give a keynote speech. I'm not briefed to give a keynote speech, and I think we don't need a keynote speech by myself, but maybe some context around the amazing work of SOS Méditerranée and why they were chosen as a Right Livelihood laureate. And we are a Swedish foundation that has been presenting an award to some of the most important change makers in the world since 1980. Among them, very important pioneers also in the health field, like Dr. Denis Mukwege, who went on to receive a Nobel Prize, like Dr. Sima Samar from Afghanistan, like Dr. Gino Strada and his organization Emergency. And the way this works is really that we get nominations from all around the world for what people see as the most pressing topics, and nominations then for change makers who really represent exemplary solutions to these challenges. And in that way, the beginning of the year is always the most hopeful time for us when we get some 200 nominations from all around the world, and we see both the adversity in the world, but we also see how people raise up in the face of adversity and how solutions often come to from those places where the suffering is very present. And that is most definitely true for the global migration crisis. So we had at our jury meeting last year nominations really from all the major migration routes in the world, where local communities, where professionals, where doctors stand up in the most amazing ways to protect the health and the rights of migrants, which are very, very much being attacked by governments, as you know. And we were just very humbled to be able to give one of our awards to SOS Mediterranee, which is absolutely a shining light representing this global movement of organizations that work with migrants. Especially what stood out for us was the very professional link between the search and rescue work and the medical care that refugees receive on the boats. And we have people in the room who can tell this story much, much better than I can. So I just want to say how honored we are to have you among our laureates, and the stage is yours.
Thank you so much, Ole. So we are about to introduce now the leaders from SOS Mediterranee, the video we saw recently. Please welcome Dominika Wangzik, medical manager, and Rebecca Marcusen-Lewis, medical team leader and midwife. Feel free to stand, sit, use the table as your...
Good evening, and thank you for welcoming us to speak. We're definitely honored to have received the Right Livelihood Award, especially during the time last year when last year was one of the deadliest years in the Central Mediterranean since 2017. So, yeah, people are dying, attempting to cross in unseaworthy boats. And although the true number will never be known, there's figures that estimate around 30,000 people have lost their lives in the sea. In response to this crisis, of course, we have our search and rescue ship, and we provide life-saving activities, really filling the gap of the state.
SOS Mediterranean has been operating in the Central Mediterranean since 2016, and we've saved the lives of over 40,000 people. On board our ship, we provide urgent medical care to those making perilous journeys. Our ship is equipped with a medical team of 4, including a doctor, a nurse, a midwife, and a team leader. We also have a dedicated medical space with basic emergency equipment. We operate a little bit like an ambulance on the sea.
And every day we encounter a range of medical conditions. Many people that we rescue suffer from dehydration, hypothermia, and different injuries sustained either from on land or at sea. We see cases of chronic conditions that have gone untreated and simple conditions that are sometimes taken to the extreme due to poor hygiene and really a lack of access to healthcare. We also hear daily stories of violence, both physical and sexual. This is a sad reality of many migratory pathways. We provide a first response on board, and we advocate and refer as much as possible for the people that we see. But of course, we're concerned that on land, the needs far outweigh the services which are available.
On board, you have to hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. With this in mind, every crew member receives training in basic life support, in mass casualty response, and complex stretcher movements, including helicopter evacuations. The reality of how overwhelming the health needs can be at sea was shown yet again in this March, when we had to activate our onboard mass casualty response. We spotted a boat from the bridge using binoculars, and we rescued 25 survivors. 2 of these survivors were unconscious and in critical medical needs. The remaining survivors of that 25 were incredibly weak and profoundly dehydrated. This boat had been adrift for over a week, but it had actually left shore with over 100 people on board. What had happened to the other people on that ship? It was another story of the Central Mediterranean claiming a tragic and senseless loss of life. Every day, reports from search and rescue colleagues at sea tell stories of help that came too late. today included. Our search and rescue colleagues this morning have reported of a baby whose body was recovered this morning. This is the ongoing reality of the Central Mediterranean, and it's an often ignored humanitarian crisis.
We need the Mediterranean recognized as a humanitarian space. So instead of allocating more assets to alleviate deaths and assist in life-saving operations, unfortunately, European states are often restricting our operations and targeting humanitarian actors at sea. Search and rescue activities must or shouldn't be compromised, and access to people in distress really should be guaranteed to prevent any further suffering or loss of life.
Throughout all of these challenges, what stands out is the incredible resilience of the people that we rescue. We've witnessed remarkable strength and courage, even in the face of unimaginable adversity. Thank you for having us, and we look forward to hearing the testimonies later, as by listening to people's stories and understanding people's needs, we can develop more effective, compassionate, and comprehensive healthcare for people on the move.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Incredibly eye-opening. Well, without further ado, we need to keep in mind that migrants often face big traumas, frequently followed by irregular legal status, language barriers, and financial constraints. On top of this, poor healthcare policies make it hard for them to get basic care. High rates of illness and death among migrants are a global health crisis and need urgent action. We're about to hear from some inspiring migrants who, despite living tough circumstances, are currently giving back to their communities. One great example is Eli Fazlola, coordinator and teacher of the Refocus Media Labs. She fled Iran and is currently a refugee in Athens. She spent also some time in the refugee camps, but she reassured me and she really wanted to let me know she right now is living in Athens and giving back to the community. She works with NGOs, making documentary and fiction films about experiences of migrants. We're about to see an example through a couple of videos, and then I'll let her be the one who tells you the story.
هیچ مهاجری فعل هجرت را یکسان صرف نمی کند. ما هر کدام به امیدی ترک وطن کردیم. هیچ آدمی خانه اش را ولو خانه‌ای روی آب به همین سادگی بی خود و بی جهت رها نمی کند که برود. چراییش برای هر آدمی با دیگری فرق می کند، اما بعد هجرت ما همه دلتنگی های بی حد پربلای من را یکسان صرف می کنیم. هر بار که سواران اسب بزرگ آهنی می شویم نمی دانیم به خانه می رویم یا بر می گردیم.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome Eli. Feel free again to sit, stand up, whatever makes you more comfortable.
No, I think my energy says I have to stand up. So hello everyone, thank you for being here and listening to us, and thank you for giving me this mic, because Refocus Media Labs teaching me this is the holy, and you have to raise a voice, you have to raise an echo, a voice of people that doesn't have these tools in their hands. I'm coming from Iran, a country that is first in science, in medical science, astrology, physics, mathematics, art, and literature. But unfortunately, everything today for my country and my people is forbidden. If I choose to stay in my country and be voice for my country, I should be in a prison like Tumaj Salehi, Yasin, oh my God, Yasin sentenced to death because they are just writing a music and just singing. Or in my field, in cinema, I can be Muhammad Rasulov, that was last week in the Cannes Festival. And instead of using visa as a celebrity of the rich country, Iran, he flee his country without visa, like million people like me as a refugee. And then you become refugee. But refugee in a book, in a documentary, has a nice meaning. Everybody wants to help us. But in reality, we are invisible because we are looking non-stop for our documents. To prove that, my sister and I, both of us, we are coordinator of Refocus Media Labs. We are teaching media, photography, cinematography, script writing, animation, graphic design, but she's waiting for get a document or at least simple interview for 4 years. And then when she was satisfied to get a document in asylum cycle, says, you don't have right to have passport because you wanted to leave Greece illegally. So that's why I'm here, and she's in Athens, but she's great, she's amazing. She was teacher of Gelen Close to speak Farsi in a Tehran series. So we are coming with the education, we are coming with a different background, but when I came to Europe, I understand what is invisible and refugee means. Because I read it in a book, but I didn't have experience. But we have a lot of Afghan people, Afghan girls, Afghan boys in our country that they don't have right to do education, to have life, to even have breath. But I couldn't understand them because they were in my country, yeah? But today, I can understand them because today I'm one of them. Before in my country, I was one of the judges, but today I'm with them. I have to speak instead of myself and my people. I have to speak for million people from different nationality. Or I get it in Europe. There is people that they are coming from nowhere. They are stateless. So one of my colleagues is an amazing writer. He's co-host of Fracture podcast to raise a voice from different borders, but he's stateless. If today I'm fighting for Iran, he's supposed to fight for where? Because he doesn't have even country. But the great thing is, he's a researcher of the podcast, and he's searching for find the problem to be a voice for other nation, but he doesn't have even nation. So I am teaching media skills, and I am responsible to this mic and the truth and justice, because today I have a student from Afghanistan that don't have right to study in my country. And I was one of the judges to judge them. You are nothing because you don't have country. You cannot do education. Because even in media, always in Iran, the raper, the killer, the bad guys, the bad people are Afghan people. Because the media is another kind of war for people. Who doesn't have voice? Yeah? So now I'm here. I have teenager boy, when he joined Refocus, that we call it home, because it's our sanctuary. Because after we lose everything, we are looking for a safe place. We are looking for the people that are not judging us for the education and background that we have. And also in the media, always we have brainwash, unfortunately. So for 26 years in Iran, they told me, say, in a school, in university, in mosque, everywhere that I'm going, they just tell me, say death to America. But it's interesting here, one American people or person believe me and give me this self-confidence that today I take mic and I am a voice for many, many refugees, that I prefer to you call me invisible, not refugee. Because if I'm invisible, nobody found money take a photo of me when I'm in the way to find my dreams, to fight for the future, or nobody take a picture from my children, they are crying. I really begging you, or all this amazing big organization, stop to present refugee with the woman with hijab, with the no quality of food, or children crying. These children, maybe now when you take a photo is 2 months, and okay, you are calling them refugee. But 7 years later, 10 years later, they become citizens of Europe. Maybe in the future, they become president of a country. And also one of the media artists, journalists coming for the interview, and then they are showing that photo for 2 months, children, to say, oh, you are president of our country, but I saw this photo that you were a refugee. Nothing wrong with refugee. Nothing wrong, believe me. We are coming with the education, with the background, but what is our choice? If I stay in Iran and be execution, if I stay in Iran and become Narges Mohammadi, really world is change, or exception change the reality? In Refocus, we have a really small word, is our white table. We are creating everything that you can see in our website around this small world. Sonia, our co-founder, she's coming from Poland, and Poland officially says no to refugee. She was one of the political members, she's working in the parliament, but she wanted to change. She wanted to make change. She's stopped to be a political woman. She just started to create a safe place for other generation, for the new generation, and always she's complaining, I'm not a creative person, but she's amazing. You know why? Because maybe she's not making movie, but she creates a space at least. In Aten Labs, we have more than 200 students that they are doing photography, videographies, they are doing sound engineering, they are making podcasts, and everything that you can see in our website is made by us. Who make this opportunity or this space for us? Just Sonia and Douglas. And how they make that? They just change the narration. They didn't say, where are you from? What is your experience? They don't put camera in front of me to show me I'm a survivor of the rape several times. And the message was revenge. Afghan people wanted to revenge the behavior of Iranian only with me, and also Iranian who doesn't have document in many cities of Iran. They are doing that the same because I was from Tehran. So they just changed the narration. Instead of judging me for who I am, what is my past, what is my journey, they just give me self-confidence. They just give me a space to just chill, feel peace, and also create media, create art. And also they make me responsible to teach others. And in our small world, the white table, we are not fighting against each other anymore. In a paper, in a media, officially we are enemy. Because we are from Russia, we are from Afghanistan, we are from Iran, we are from Poland, we are from America, and also stateless, from nowhere. But we are just sitting around this table to create, to share our own story and try to make a voice for others, to echo voice, because we are responsible for technology. We are responsible for this mic that today is in my hands, and I hope I'm doing my responsibility as I can, as my English level allow me to speak. So thank you for listening to me. But if I want to speak about Refocus Media Labs, it's a lot, honestly. It's really a lot. So I just encourage you, go to our website, www.refocusmedialabs.org. And you can see many, many, many creative people, amazing people, talent people. You cannot imagine how they are amazing. I just want to say one more thing, because he's a teenager and I really want to speak about him. He's only 17, he never has family, he never had education. I mean, the world never allowed him to have education because he was 8 years when he left Afghanistan. And then in Iran, he was just a farmer. And in Refocus, when he came and joined us as a student, he couldn't speak English, so I was teaching and also translating for him. But today, he's my mentor. He's 19, he's not 19, he's 18 right now. And he is my mentor. He's teaching me how to use Gamble. He's teaching me what is the best way for editing. He doesn't have education for cinema, but he's amazing. Please give them right, give them chance, and please accept refugee for the education, because he wanted to make a documentary about history of Greece. He went to the school for 2 months, but there is no teacher for teaching him history of Greece. Please help these amazing people, include me. Thank you.
We're about to begin a very short Q&A for Ellie. So while you think about your question, I'm going to ask mine in here. So you've talked about the future of many refugees, okay, so what happens now to a refugee doesn't mean that it's going to be the same 10 years from now. So what are your hopes and dreams? How do you envision yourself 5 to 10 years from now?
I think for all of us, if I want to imagine about the future, the first one is acceptance. Yeah, because I know one of my, I cannot say who because I'm a political person, but one of my close member of the family, they are getting a scholarship from Iran to come and become a university student in one of the European countries. She's asking me, what is your opinion about this trip? And I said, what are you talking about? Why you are afraid to doing? Because at least you have social level. You will go to the European university, study cinema, like me. And then when you finish your course, you have to go somewhere in a media labs, different way, to do internship. They will come to Refocus Media Labs to become internship, yeah? Maybe she's my sister, maybe she's my cousin, but the social, what is the difference between us in society? She's a student of European universities, so her level is here, and I'm still refugee, and here. Yeah, so I really want to just remove this distance because of our journey. And this distance is gonna remove when we have to accept refugee. Refugee is a name for the short time. And then they're gonna be like your citizenship. So when you don't give them opportunity and chance, so there is no difference. We cannot do magic without exception. Accept us, we promise you, we're gonna make a magic.
Thank you. But if you have to say, like in a couple of words, like how do you envision yourself in 5-10 years from now? Do you want to make big movies? Do you want to go to Hollywood? What is
We're gonna make a film to be in Oscar. This is our goal in Refocus, and you can see us soon. Promise you.
There you go. Dream big. Okay, so opening the floor for questions now.
Question?
Any question?
Please, I love to speak more. Yes. I saw you, I get energy. Yes.
We will keep following you on social media.
Yes, please, please.
To see what you are doing next.
Thank you so much.
So
Yes.
pressure is high.
It is.
Thank you so much,
Thank you so
Eli.
much.
Well, now you know, a future public speaker, professional public speaker here. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So our next testimony is from a Palestinian migrant who is currently based in Ireland. She works for an NGO called Artolution, where art is the solution. The NGO does art therapy with migrants and especially children. So please welcome on stage Majida Al-Askari.
Good evening, and Yaso, and Filet, in different language. That the language I just picked from the country I was. The art, it is part of my heart because I started as artist when I was just 9. I do art work when I was in school, and when I was in the university at 18 years old, and they forced me to be volunteer in the orphanage when I hated in the beginning. But in the first day when I went there and I saw 200 child in the rooms without parents, that broke my heart. And I was just a child. But when I start working with them as art therapy, and then I end up in the 3rd project winner in the schools when we made the biggest mural from ceramic. It is like ceramic wall. It's with alphabet to help all children for education with the alphabet, with the numbers in different languages. And they also image one of the child. When the school, they don't accept him because he's unknown name. So we made a small children parliament, and we fight in the parliament in Syria to recognize the orphanage, and we give them status, we give them names and surname and national number in Syria. So now even the orphanage, they have national name in Syria. The short story when I start, and then I grow up, I study as business. I have a bachelor in business, economy, and bank management. I never work as a business. I was a wedding planner, and I love journalism. During the war, I was working volunteer with Red Cross. Unfortunately, they kidnapped me in Yarmouk camp, and I stayed there for 9 months. And then when they released me from Al Yarmouk camp, I went for a prison for 3 months. And I kept my trip in and out for 4 years in a prison, but I never gave up. I kept my work as a journalist. And the end of my journey, I was in a prison for 7 months when they informed my family that they give them my clothes, my ID, and everything belonged to me. And they told them she's dead. And then I was in the court, and I sent message to my family that I'm still alive. Come to take me from the court. And no one believed that I'm alive because they make a phone laugh, they say goodbye to me, I'm in another world. And then I sent him specific message. It was keyword between me and my mother. And she came to the court and she take me and she told me, you will fly today from Syria. So I was a refugee for 2 weeks in Turkey. They follow me to Turkey. And then I thought there is no hope to stay in Turkey. So I go to Greece. I arrived in the beginning in April 2016. Because of the torture, I was very sick. I couldn't even move. But I was in the tent for 4 days. I cannot sleep, I cannot eat because I saw around me the wire. It reminded me when I was in a prison. Only the doctor, he came just to speak to me. Just I look at him, I never have any reaction. And then I saw front of my tent, the children are playing from different culture. And I look, oh my God, they are just children. They forget the wire, they forget the policeman, the queue for food, the queue for doctors, and just to play. And I just stand up, I asked them, would like to go to school? And suddenly, like I said, the key word for them, understanding, we start doing school from nothing. We dancing, we playing together. We have just, and then they start fund me with the white papers, some brush, some colors, pencil, and we start our work. And then we have funding, we have colors, and we painting the wall in the camp. And this is my school, my lovely school. So we painted with the hand to have a stamp in the wall from my children. Here I couldn't stand up in the school, so I teach him when I sit in the floor. And I really grateful to Red Cross when they helped me to have a tent from the hot weather in the camp. So I have a tent. It was my first school there. And then in 2016, in April, not in April, sorry, I was in April. In August, I met with Max. He's artist, and he's the coordinator for Art Solution. And we just have a small conversation about art as a solution, and because international word, it is the art, and we don't need word to speak. We start our project. We made the first mural. It is in the wall in Samos camp, and takes us for a week to finish it with all the community in the camp. And then we start make the music sculpture. As you see, it is totally from garbage. And the children, they keep memorized that. They send me a lot of photos. They still have it until now. And one of the really nice story, it is from Yusuf At-Tayyib. He's a child and community minor. He came from Iraq. And when he met Max, after 2 years from our mural, he said, every time when I saw the mural, I remember how many people they just survived from their journey. And he's Yusuf there next to Max, and he told him he's so happy. His dream to be a doctor, but he never found himself to go to school, to learn languages. And then he said, okay, you can try with the art. And now he's in the first year in Germany as a medical school. And that makes me so proud that we support him and we give him hope. And Omed also, he's now in UK. Omed, he was one of my best assistant in the artwork with the children because he speaks Farsi. And he's very talented. He very fast learning. He learned German, learned Greek, English, French. So he just, like with the children from Africa, he just take him under his wings and play with him. And now he's in UK, and he's also studying director cinema. So that also makes me so proud. 7 years in Greece, it is not just a number for me. And my number in Greece was 46A. It is my number in the police paper. It is my lucky number because I don't feel shame that I'm a refugee because I'm traveling. I feel like I'm just giving hope in any place I'm traveling. And now based in Ireland and also working with different organizations. I work with a community center called The Exchange. We start with the basic community with the Ireland and refugees. Now the refugees in Ireland, they know more than they know about their culture because we force them to learn because now it is our home, our place, our community, our neighborhood, our friends school. So we are trying to build health community, adapt from them, and we give them our good image. Because so important that the culture, when you speak your voice about your culture, you have to have empathy, you have good mark to give them. So our mark is through the art. We made mural in Ireland with the refugee. I don't know if the mural is there.
Is it another picture?
Yeah, it is a picture. This year in Greece, we used to have Ira, the god of travel and safety. And this one of our work, and Omed, he's there. I don't know, maybe it's not there. Maybe it's not in the slide. But we made a mural in Ireland and speak about the route in all refugee. And it was amazing because we have people from Ukraine, people from Netherlands, from United States, from Brazil. They came, and all of them, they just based in Buncrana, it is the north of Ireland, and say we are all traveling. We are all have different background. But to come here, it is good things to have connected with the world because we are all part of the world. Doesn't mean if I left Palestine, I'm not Palestinian, or I left Syria, I'm not Syrian, or I left Greece, I'm not a Greek. I am here as a person, and I feel I'm carry love from all countries. Of course, we have facing a lot of difficulty, but in the end of the day, we prove ourselves as people, as a human being, as refugees, and as citizenship. I'm so proud of myself, and I'm so proud of everybody I met him in my life, especially in the camps, because I meet more than 1,000 during the 7 years. Like in one day, we have a boat is carrying 300, 700, 800, sometimes we have 1,000 arrival in one day, and all of them, they are amazing. You see them, they arrived wet, tired, sad, and then when you say other person next to them, they need help, they just stand up. You are okay. What do you need? You need food, you need dry clothes, and they help each other. This harmony between them, it is really amazing. And we see people now, until now, they're still in different places, just send me their photos, like we are starting in school, university, we are married, we have a new baby, we have a new car, new house, and that really, really, really amazed me. I don't beg anyone to accept refugees because we are all refugees, we are all traveling. Doesn't matter if we have to get travel document that allowed you to travel, just be patient, be empathy, and do what you have to do, and love each other. Choose love because the love will choose you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Majida, for sharing such an inspiring and hopeful story with us. And truly, art is a universal language. You can connect with each other through arts, and this is so evident in your story. I was just wondering, have you explored music therapy?
Yes, I do. And I went in 2018, the voice word of music therapy and art therapy in UNCR.
Oh, okay. I asked this because last year we published a small comment on how music therapy is helping migrant adults. So that was a very nice short piece from University of Bergen. And your story gives me the idea that probably I should publish something on art therapy for migrant children.
You should, because now we have a choir of age. It is from different age and different background. We work in Northern Ireland, and last week we have performance in Dublin. So we have 3 songs. They're written by different ages, and we will publish in 14th of June. The song is also written about Palestine, so it will be published in 14th of June, and the choir of age, they will be the singing.
Thanks for sharing this. We will be looking forward for this. Do we have any questions from the audience? Okay. So,
Thank you so much, Majida.
Thank you.
yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Following with our third testimonies, we have 4 in total. This is the third. This is from Rekan Fadil Salim, who will be joined by Rosita Phoebe, president of Femstish, dedicated to adult education of health issues. Rekan is a migrant working at Femstish, and it is a facilitator of the support groups. Welcome.
Good evening. Well, thank you for inviting Femtische, our program, to this panel. And it's a program that works in less dramatic situations, of course, than the one we've been hearing of until now, but is something common with them is that it builds on resources that migrants have. So Femtische is a scheme for adult migrants who get together in small informal groups around a facilitator like Rekan in order to talk about the challenges of everyday life in a new society, to exchange experience, to build on their own resources in order to face them. This program was first intended to migrant women and is still the main focus, but increasingly it has been extended to address migrant men as well as young and elderly people. This program is now, that's Rekan's, okay, this is men's roundtable discussions. And now the program is widespread almost all over Switzerland and is involving 380, voila, there it is, 380 facilitators and more than 70,000 migrants last year. So 5 main ingredients for our program: easy access, group of peers, migrant languages, issues to be discussed, choice of those issues, and aim, purpose of the program. It's a low threshold offer, no requirements for people to join in. They have free participation, and there is an organized childcare for women to take part in these roundtable discussions. The roundtable brings together people that share common background, cultural and socioeconomic situation. The facilitators belong also to the same group, so they are peers. There is no hierarchy in these groups, so that the experiences can be discussed on the same level, at eye level for everybody. Third point, discussions take place in the migrant's language of origin. No need to know the local language in order to get access to information, to share experience, to networking. So I think this is a very helpful tool for people to elaborate on their present experience and to develop an understanding of how to face those challenges that they have in their new society. The topics to be discussed are chosen by the participants. So there is nothing coming from above upon migrants, but the program helps migrants finding their way to face those challenges. Health is the participants' favorite topic, among others like education and family and integration. What is the aim of the program? To develop empowerment both on individual knowledge and self-determination on one side, and developing networking among the participants in order to strengthen mutual support. And in our last evaluation of the program, especially on health topics, the program proved to be quite effective in increasing knowledge among participants, motivating them into implementing some of the new ideas that had been shared, and conforming to resolution because of the group support into putting into practice the things that have been discussed of. But Rekan will be giving a deeper insight in the program. Please.
Thank you. As I mentioned, I was a biology teacher in Iraq. I arrived from Iraq in 2015 as a refugee. Very shortly after arriving in Switzerland, I started working as a volunteer for Cantonal Red Cross, as a social work translator, and later FemTish facilitator. I'm currently working as a teacher and coordinator at the ESPAS School for Adults Migrants. As a part of my volunteer work for FemTish, I hosted until today more than 50 roundtables. For me, it's really easy. Easy peasy, comme il dit. Alors, to find the participants, because as I mentioned earlier, I work for the School for Adult Migrants, and I have direct contact with these migrant public. And in addition to that, I speak 5 languages. I can host participants speaks any language that I speak, so they can express and talk easier. And this is our goal, and this is our objective, because, as you know, the migrant people, they need to talk in their language. Maybe they need to express. So it's a really good place. I host roundtable to discuss different topics, as my colleague said, such as on the topic of health, of course, such as mental health, getting and staying healthy, domestic violence, and health insurance, which is really complicated. Even Swiss people, sometimes they tell me, really? You give courses about this? You held roundtables about this topic? It's really complicated. So I would like to share one of the roundtable I hosted on the domestic violence. It was very interesting to make the participants talk and express their concerns about this sensitive topic by creation a safe zone for the discussion. And to be honest, this is one of the topics which is really, really difficult, but with giving them the space, the safe, that they can express in their own language. They can talk, they can share, they can exchange, they can learn from the others. It's really help to people to come and to come after me. Sometimes I found the participants, they arrive before me. One half an hour before me, they are already there. I'm gonna start now? No, in half an hour. So they are really interesting to come and to share and to talk. So during this discussion, some women realized that this situation they are experiencing were not normal for the domestic violence, particularly when it comes to psychological violence. As you know, it's transparent. You can't see it, the psychological violence. You can't see it. It's not abusing during this discussion. But when these women get together and share their feelings and experiences, they realize that they are not alone. So I give them support, I listen to them, I give them addresses and solutions available in the canton of Neuchâtel in situations of domestic violence, such as orienting them to Savi. It's a home for supporting women, and have someone to talk and ask for advice, consultation. Maybe they are not aware about this service which is existing in the canton because they don't speak very good the language, because they don't know the system, they don't know what they have right to do, so it's really complicated. If you don't know you don't know the language, it's complicated to have access to all these things. So all of this, of course, it prevents as well. I would like to say, I don't like to help people when they are in the problem more than I like to help them or prevent the problem. So it's really important for me, and sometimes when I hear a case, when I help someone which is really too late, let's say, I said, why I was not informed? So I think it's really important, this, so that I am concerned as a person, and I am a person of contact to support these peoples. However, I have women and men, by the way, for the roundtables that I do. So I don't have any restrictions. As my colleague said, we have sometimes roundtables, only women or mixed or only men. So I give them guide, I give them advice, I give them necessary addresses, especially for the urgent problems. As you know, the administration here, it takes too long. It takes really too long. So I am the person of contact for any question, giving them, taking appointments, writing emails, solution available in situation. Alors, so after this round table, one of the women that she didn't share lots of things with me during the round table. She didn't talk too much. She contacted me after a while, seeking for help. And now this woman, she's safe in a shelter. It's really important, this program. It's very important for our public, for the migrants, and they desire that. Who doesn't speak really the local language? Well, so I really want to tell you something. I'm not really here to read you a story, but I am here to tell you a real story from the reality and tell you how important to support these people. And these people who are vulnerable, who need support, who need somebody to listen. And to be honest, it's not only the topics is really important. It is important, of course, for some people. But for some people, they just love to come and break this isolation because they are alone. They don't speak. They don't have family. They don't go to school, some of them. This is the only way they can go outside from their home to drink a coffee together with other people, to share, to talk about their problems, to find a solution. So it's really amazing. Last word, this job, like a volunteer I do, I feel like it's not just me I'm helping people, but it's also amazing opportunity for me to learn, to change, I learn every day, every single day with them, because it's experience for me as well. It's not only one way, no. To be honest with you, I never been in psychologic cabinet. So if you want help, that help for your stress, that help to feel good, to help someone who needs help, it's better. Go, talk, and thank you so much for listening tonight. I hope I can make a change. I really want to tell you something that I catched from, they tell me many things, but one of the things, it touched me personally. It was from Monsieur Issam Abdou. He's from Sudan. He told me, you are the one helped me to survive in Switzerland. I didn't know what to do if you couldn't help me. Now his son, he's at class jet. His daughter is in lycée DDR, one of the scientific lycées in Neuchâtel. So biochimie. Alors they came before 1.5 years. So I just helped them for their questions, how to find, what to do. Just for me, easy peasy. But yeah, he told me I didn't know what to do if you were not. He said you helped me to, and you survived me. Alors, one of the other things she told me, Rana from Syria. She told me, you inspire me, you inspire us. We talk about you always. You give us a force and you give us energy. You give us energy to continue and to learn, because we don't even imagine, it's been 9 years you are living in Switzerland and you speak French and you are teacher teaching immigrant peoples. So, and the last thing, Abdullah Al-Jarudi, he's from Syria. I will tell it in Arabic. Maybe you can translate it for me. هذا الحصة ينفس يطلع من جو العصبية، نضحك نتعلم، وأحلى شيء خليتي ابني يروح على السبور وسجلتي لي ابني بالسبور، وهاي أكبر فرحة لإلي. Yeah, this class is what makes me feel I can breathe and take all the stress from deep in my heart, make me laugh, make me a new person, and yeah, make me a new person, and for notice, and you are given information, and also you are the legal advisor. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rikan and Rosita. You are truly changing the lives of so many migrants out there. Thank you for everything that you do. And any questions from the audience before we go to our final speaker? Yes.
Yes. Actually, I always, when I find them, they are ready because they need to have contact with other peoples. Exactly. I send email with their CV, which I prepared, to the Red Cross, to my responsible, Madame Melanie Regenbach, and she held appointment with them. And now I have 3 participants. They were my participants. Now they are getting the formation, the training with Red Cross, Femtisch, to be bénévole, to be volunteer in Red Cross, Femtisch, Omtisch.
And Rekan is able to speak 5 languages: Kurdish, Turkish, Arabic,
Kurdish,
French, and English.
I'm Kurdish from Iraq, and I speak Arabic because I learned Arabic at the school. It's the first language in Iraq. And I learned Turkish because my grandfather and mother, they transferred the language. And I speak French. I learned French here. And English, of course, because I have studied university in Iraq.
So before we are done, can you say thank you in all those 5 languages?
Of course. As my dad said, you have 5 passports now.
Can you say thank you in 5 languages?
Of course. Supas, c'est en kurdish. Shukran بالعربي. Merci en français. Teşekkür ediyorum en turc. Dankeschön en allemand. J'ai oublié l'allemand si jamais. Ich spreche ein bisschen Deutsch. C'est le 6e, mais ouais, j'ai dit tout, hein. Merci à vous.
I feel ashamed I can speak only 2 languages, English and Hindi, despite being 15 years in Europe. So, shukriya.
Shukriya.
There you go.
A little bit like Arabic. Shukran, shukriya. So it's never too late. To be honest, I will give you one tip. If you have kids at home and you are afraid to teach them another language, because I know sometimes friends that father speak one language and the mother speaks the other language, and they are afraid to speak their mother language at home because they think it's too hard for the kid. It's going to be too much. Really not. Kids, they are like a sponge. My kids, for the time being, they speak 5 languages. And so it's amazing. We arrived here in Switzerland before 9 years, and now they speak French, German, English, of course, Kurdish, and Arabic. They are learning now
in Neuchâtel. So it's never difficult. You have to start as of today, really.
Impressive. Thank you so much.
So this brings us to our last testimony, and it's from a Brazilian migrant with a tough personal journey. She currently works at the Swiss Agence de Santé. So let's hear from Cathy Baumgartner. Cathy.
Her testimony will be in French, so if you need translation, there are some headsets in the back. Alors, Cathy, avant de commencer, est-ce que vous avez en fait...
Cathy, before starting.
Parlez-vous 5...
Do you also speak 5 languages? No, unfortunately, I don't speak English. I'm ashamed that I don't speak English. I really have to learn English, but I speak French, and I live in Geneva, so that's enough for me at the moment. Thank you very much indeed for the introduction. Thank you for letting me be here. And I'd also like to thank my colleague. I feel very privileged to be here at this forum, which is a very important event for me. I represent migrants, and I also represent health agents, community health agents, who come from the Brazilian community. I'm very pleased to be with you this evening. I was invited to talk to you a bit about my background, my career, my past career, and I thought to myself, what am I going to say? I've got a lot of things to say. I don't know where I'm going to start. What should I start with? At what time? I don't know. Should I start when I arrived in Switzerland, or what? At the age of 12, in short. Well, I think I'm going to proceed in chronological order. Like that, I won't forget anything. It's easier. I'm Brazilian. I'm the mother of 3 children. I'm also a grandmother of a little princess. Yes, I said I'm already a grandmother. I'm very happy about that as well, because it's life, it's the continuation of life. I arrived in Geneva in 2017. In fact, I arrived with my husband and 3 children. Well, he's no longer my husband today. Fortunately, and he's now single. And I arrived in 2017 with everyone, my family. I didn't speak much French, but at that time my husband, who's Swiss, was sick. We had got married in Brazil, and he said, let's go to Switzerland, because there I have the possibility of getting treatment, and I've left everything there, so we agreed to come back to Switzerland, back for my husband. So I said to myself, oh my God, in Brazil I was a university teacher. I was a nurse as well. I was in the armed forces. I had a life, I had a car. I had a certain degree of stability in Brazil. It really was a challenge, but we all agreed. So the family came here, and then I came across the Hospice Général. That's the agency in Switzerland which provides social assistance. And I said to myself, what's this? But in Brazil, the word hospice is the agency which treats people who suffer from mental disabilities. And I said to people, but I'm not sick. And then I was told, no, Hospice Général, that's the social services in Switzerland. So that reassured me. There was one social worker there who was very nice, and she said, you have to do some language studies. You have to study the language. So I started straight away. What do I mean by that? I started with an association called Découvrir, Discover. I started from scratch. 2 years later, I already had the level B1 in French. Then I went to the Academic Horizons program at the University of Geneva. I went through that program. That took 1 year. And then I did further French language studies. I was fortunate enough to be able to go to university, to actually study at the university. Then 2 years after that, I started my master's degree in adult training. And I said to myself, wow, this is top, this is great. And one day I was at the university and a teacher said to me, listen, you don't speak French very well. I don't know what's going to happen at your exam. And then I went to take the exam and I did not pass. At the time I was doing my master's in adult education, adult training, and also the additional certificate, supplementary certificate. So I didn't pass first time. I was really depressed about that. I thought to myself, what am I going to do? I was studying quite a lot. And then I did not pass the second time either. And then the teacher told me, I told you, you were not ready. And then I really got depressed. I felt sick. I was in hospital. I was really, really down, really sick. And then I attempted to commit suicide for the first time. And I'm just telling you that because to say that I was able to receive treatment and monitoring by the HUG, the Geneva University Hospitals, and they told me that I had borderline personality disorder. And that was, I had never had that opportunity to find that out in Brazil, because in Brazil we don't have highly specialized care like that. So I was fortunate enough to be treated by people who really are there to help you. But it was not only that. Well, of course, what the university teacher told me probably the person did not realize what the consequences would be of those words, but I forgive him. But it was important that I received some help. And that's the reason why I've brought along this framed picture. It's a person who's very important to me. It represents the interdisciplinary unit for medicine and violence prevention. And my therapist here was called Caterina Pereira. We started doing therapy. And one of the methods she used with me was the poetry-based method. Throughout my whole life, which wasn't easy because I was a mother already at the age of 15 years. You can imagine what that was like. And thanks to this therapy, I started to understand myself and to understand this therapy and to understand little things. For example, the need to stop shouting when I was annoyed. Now, that may sound simple to you, but that's something which today I'm able to control. This drawing is not a drawing which she asked me to do. It's called Therapy in Poetry, and it's entitled Loss of Dignity. Now, one day I was very sick and I fell over in the hospital. I was suffering from disruptions, uncertainty, invoices, the population office, debt, phobias. I put down all the words which tend to haunt us when we are here as migrants, whether we have a residence permit or not, whether we have a refugee's permit or whatever. Anxiety, hospice général, family, professional integration, social integration. So I started writing down all these words, and this drawing was the result of that. And I brought it along and showed it to my therapist. I said, I've done a drawing for you. And then we started to work together on these things. A short while afterwards, the drawing had changed. That's why I'm showing you two drawings. The drawing had changed. Therapy in poetry, Katerina Lepera, to whom my soul belongs. All this is my testimony. All this is very important for me because one day I really was very disrupted with my migration situation. I learned the words that the colleague said a moment ago, but you arrive here as a migrant, as an isolated person, like a refugee initially, but after a while one becomes a citizen. One is no longer a refugee or migrant. And the most important word I've heard today was the word which Jacques Saint used, and that's the word integration. Sometimes you talk about 5, 6 or 7 years that are needed to become integrated, but of course it depends on the individual and how the individual is going to behave and act. So that's how I gained my freedom. When I started to draw at the age of 5 or 6 years and to play violin, I did a lot of art in my childhood. When I was about 12 years old, I stopped everything because I had some problems with my family, but that's another story. And thanks to the therapy I had, I now have this possibility. So I'm a migrant who was helped by the HUG, that's the Geneva University Hospitals. For me as a migrant, it was very important to have received this help. To have received this help from our host country. It's also been a privilege for me to have received a residence permit which enables me to work, and that's very important. I've had that opportunity, but I know quite a few people who have not had that possibility and still don't have it. And that's terrible for them, because it means they're in a situation of uncertainty. I'm here today, but I don't know what's going to happen to me in 1 year's time. And you don't even know whether you're going to be able to stay here for 1 year. But I've had the privilege of obtaining a work permit for Switzerland. I've almost finished. So what happened? I fell badly at the hospital and I was hospitalized and started to undergo treatment. And one day, 2 or 3 months later, I was in the process of praying to God to know what I should do, because I was at home. And that day I received a message, an email from the Hospice Général, the social services, and it was also copied to the person who today is my colleague, Sarah, and other colleagues who no longer work for the association, one of whom was Kalin. So there was this email, and I opened the email. And it was an email from the association health agents. I thought, well, it's a kind of training program. It's something different. But the important point was that it gave me an opportunity to get out of my home and to see other people and to network, to do networking. So I went there and met my colleagues and did interviews and started the training course. As I said, it was very important for me to do this. The purpose for me was not just to get this training, but to get social integration. That was really the main point of doing this training course, to become socially integrated. And I felt great alongside my colleagues. I did the training course and I started to work to become a health agent. It's the organization works in the field of health promotion. We work on questions like the issue of health in relation to immigration and migrants. What we also do is to train health agents. Oh yes, we have it on this slide. We train health agents to pass on information, to do health prevention for other people in their community. So we train health agents who work on the ground. Although I'm Brazilian, I can now moderate these training sessions in French, as I speak French now, and also in Portuguese, of course. I also moderate workshops which talk about physical activity, mental health, a balanced diet, and immigration in general. It encompasses all that, so I can do that in Portuguese and French. As a Brazilian, usually I work with the Brazilian community, but in the health agents community, normally we work with people who speak Arabic, Farsi, English, Spanish, Portuguese. We have quite a number of health agents who speak several languages, and it's very enriching for us to speak, to work with those people, because we have access to their community. That's very important to me. And in the health agents community, we try to link this community with health professionals. Of course, in our community, we don't do the job of nurses or doctors. Our job is to guide people to health professionals, be it at the Geneva University hospitals or other associations they might need. Well, I've almost finished. 12 years after a number of years after arriving in Geneva, I wrote my first book, and people told me, well, it's very simple. It's only 40 pages. I said, yes, it's only 40 pages, but the most important thing is that I wrote it. It was very important for me, and I did not write it in Portuguese. I wrote it in my own words in French. And I have here the testimony of my French teacher. She corrected the proofs. There were 3 zeros. And for me, that's a victory. Well done. Well done.
Exams at the masters. From not being able to pass some of the exams at the masters for the language barrier, you now wrote your own book with only 3 mistakes. That's impressive. Merci.
Merci beaucoup, merci.
Thank you very much.
Alors, si je peux encore, 2 minutes, c'est juste pour dire, je sais.
Can I just have another 2 minutes? Are there any migrants here? The majority of people in the audience, we all have the ability to.
Il faut juste se rappeler que tout est un cycle et rien n'est impossible.
And try to succeed. Quite simply, try to succeed. You'll have the possibility of succeeding as whatever migration background you come from. And I would like to say something about health professionals. I would like to say thank you to all those people who are sensitive and who try to understand the process of migration. It's not just a matter of saying, oh, I understand that you've been through a difficult situation. You really have to understand and be sensitive and say, I need to prepare myself in order to be able to receive different refugees from different refugee backgrounds.
Wrap up? Yes, there's one there. En français, oui.
Mon question.
My question is as follows. Do you have traineeship places in your health agent community? Because I know someone who recently arrived in Switzerland, and his son is over the age of compulsory schooling and would like to become a doctor and would like to find a traineeship place. Could you tell me whether you have such places or not? Answer, well, in our association we don't train doctors. Well, I just mean as a traineeship, says the question asker. Well, we don't provide traineeships. We offer a training course to become a community health agent. The training course only lasts 10 days. And after that, you have 10 days of theory. 10 days of theory which teach you how to become a community health agent, how to moderate workshops and so on, the whole theoretical package. And then after that, you do 6 months of practical training. Thank you for your answer.
Thank you. Thank you to all the migrants for having the courage of standing here and share their stories. The goal here is to amplify the voices dedicated to improving healthcare for migrants and engage in meaningful dialogue with the stakeholders. Pooja, any further words before we end?
For me, it's been so inspiring to hear these stories because we work always behind the scenes, and it's so important to hear from the migrants what they have gone through, because when you hear these stories, it changes you little by little as a person, and it's very important to be sensitive. As we heard from the migrants, it's very important for us as health professionals, as scientists, to approach the work we do with a humane angle and not just as a scientific piece. And I think if I can take this learning back from what we do and the projects that we do, bring in the humane angle, our research would be in a slightly different trajectory. And I feel so little in front of such brave people who we have heard today. So it's just inspiring.
Indeed. I mean, well said, well said. I'm also a migrant myself. I'm from Venezuela. And yeah, I've been all over the place, but nothing compares to the stories that we've heard today. So time has come to wrap this day. let us take some time to digest what we've learned so far. Let's get some rest and be prepared to listen to our last lineup of the Geneva Health Forum, which is tomorrow. It will be all about malaria, which is the leading cause of death and disease in many developing countries. Again, it is vital that we come with all our energies tomorrow and be prepared to listen with empathy. See you tomorrow.